At exactly 2:14 a.m., my phone buzzed with a silent alert. Motion detected, living room. 2 minutes later, someone was inside my house. By 2:19, police officers had a middle-aged woman tangled in my blackout curtains, screaming about emergency code compliance inspections. Her name? Marla Jennings, president of the Cedar Grove HOA. And that night, she crossed the line from annoying neighbor to criminal trespasser. My name's David Mercer. I'm an IT support specialist. A widower. A quiet man who minds his own business. I don't do neighborhood gossip. I don't care who trims their hedge or paints their fence beige. All I care about is raising my son, Jake, in peace. But in the world of HOAs, peace is apparently a violation. It started small. A note slipped under my door. Your decorative garden ornament does not comply with Section 8.3. That ornament? A leftover Halloween skull I'd forgotten to pack away. A week later, a $75 fine for unauthorized solar pathway lighting. Those lights had been there since the day I bought the house. When I asked about it, Marla smiled. That kind of smile you only see on people who enjoy holding power over others. She said, "Oh, I just updated the lighting ordinance last month." That's when I realized, this wasn't about community. It was about control. Marla didn't stop at letters. She started ringing my doorbell, 6:42 a.m. on a Saturday. She pointed at the wreath on my door. A simple eucalyptus circle my late wife made years ago. Marla sniffed and said, seasonally ambiguous. That's against guidelines. Then came the grass inspections. She actually tried to walk into my backyard with a ruler. When I told her to leave, she puffed up like a peacock and said, "I'll return with proper documentation." Neighbors whispered about her, laughed even. How she crouched behind her hibiscus bushes, clutching binoculars and a clipboard, pretending she was in some spy movie. But it stopped being funny when things turned personal. Every Tuesday night, my trash cans were mysteriously knocked over. My security camera wire, sliced clean through. That was my breaking point. I upgraded everything. Infrared cameras, silent alarms, and panic buttons, one in Jake's room, one in the hallway. Then I taught him exactly what to do. If anyone ever came in uninvited, hit the button. Lock the door. Hide in the closet. We practiced until it became instinct. He was only 10, but he learned fast. Because deep down, he knew what I did. Marla wasn't going to stop. After I skipped her mandatory beautification seminar, she started following us. One afternoon, she trailed Jake home from the bus stop. When I confronted her, she said, I needed to check his backpack for contraband gum. That's when I called the police. But they said unless she actually trespassed, their hands were tied. So I waited. Watched. Prepared. And then came the night everything changed. It was a normal night. Jake went to bed around 9:30. I double-checked every lock, front, back, windows. Around midnight, I heard her voice through the wall, ranting on the phone about the decay of neighborhood discipline. I should have known she was planning something. Because just 2 hours later, Marla Jennings, dressed head to toe in black, crept up my driveway, flashlight in one hand, laminated HOA rulebook in the other. She tried the front door. Locked. Checked the kitchen window. Sealed. Then the laundry room, the one I'd left cracked open earlier that day. That was her way in. My motion sensor caught her the second she stepped inside. Jake, half asleep, heard the soft beep-beep he'd memorized during our drills. He slammed the panic button without hesitation. The alarm was silent, but the police were already on their way. I grabbed my phone, switched to the live feed. And there she was. Marla Jennings, president of the HOA, crawling through my living room. Snapping pictures of my bookshelf. Muttering, unapproved reading materials. Definitely against subsection 14. She opened my refrigerator, took a photo, and whispered. Non-organic milk. Unacceptable. I almost laughed. Almost. Then I heard Jake's whisper from his closet. Dad, she's inside, isn't she? I said the calmest words I could manage. You did everything right, buddy. Stay hidden. 4 minutes. That's how long it took for the red and blue lights to wash over my driveway. I unlocked the front door just as officers stormed in, shouting. Police. Hands where we can see them. Marla froze. Then she panicked, darting behind my blackout curtains. She got tangled, thrashing and shouting. This is a code compliance inspection. I have jurisdiction. The officers didn't even try to hide their disbelief. They yanked her free, cuffed her, and read her rights. While she screamed about protecting property values. That's when I realized, this wasn't madness anymore. It was obsession. By sunrise, the story was already spreading. My security footage was crystal clear, cloud backup, multiple angles, full HD. Marla breaking in. Crawling through my house. Snapping photos like a deranged real estate agent. The next morning, local news ran the story. HOA president or unhinged trespasser. Within 48 hours, it went viral. 3 million views. Someone even remixed her line. This is my jurisdiction. Into a TikTok sound. The HOA scrambled to contain the fallout. They called an emergency meeting. Over 200 residents showed up, demanding Marla's removal. The vote was unanimous. Except for her husband, who just stared at the floor. By the end of that night, the Cedar Grove HOA officially dissolved. And ironically, property values went up. Buyers loved the new, no HOA, status. Marla faced multiple charges. Breaking and entering, criminal trespass, unlawful surveillance. And endangerment of a minor, because Jake had been home. Her lawyer tried to argue, temporary mental impairment due to civic obsession. The judge didn't buy it. During the trial, Marla took the stand, rambling for 40 minutes. About preserving neighborhood integrity. The prosecutor let her talk, then quietly played the video. Of her photographing my fridge at 2:15 a.m. The courtroom laughed. Even the stenographer smirked. Then Jake testified, calm, brave, clear. He told them how he heard the alert, hit the panic button. And hid in his closet like we'd practiced. You could see it on the jurors' faces. The moment they realized this wasn't some HOA dispute. It was a violation of safety. Of childhood. Of peace. Deliberation took less than 2 hours. Verdict, guilty on all counts. During sentencing, the judge made it clear. She had terrorized families, frightened a child, and abused her authority. 18 months in prison. 3 years probation. $15,000 in restitution. When she heard it, Marla's face went pale. She whispered. This can't be happening. I have a neighborhood standards meeting next week. The courtroom chuckled. The judge didn't. He added a permanent restraining order. She could never come within 500 feet of my home or Jake's school. And then the final blow. She was banned for life from holding any HOA or neighborhood position. Marla gasped, gripping the defense table. Her face turning the same furious shade of red as the roses. She once fined the Johnsons for planting. When it was all over, I looked at Jake. He was smiling, small, tired, but safe. That night, for the first time in months, we slept with the windows open. No motion alerts. No letters under the door. Just peace. Sometimes I still think about her. How obsession can twist a person into something unrecognizable. Marla wanted control so badly, she lost everything. Her reputation. Her freedom. Her little kingdom of HOA power. All because she couldn't stand a quiet house that didn't bow to her rules. People online still tag me in memes of her curtain fiasco. Sometimes I laugh. Sometimes I just shake my head. But deep down, I know something she never understood. You can't legislate peace. You can't fine people into decency. And you can't break into a man's home and expect to keep your crown. In the end, the best revenge is proof. Proof that the quiet ones aren't weak. We're just waiting for the right moment to hit record.